So it's welcome back to the lovely Wanneroo Bowling Club, where we've just seen the start of the ladies fours. We've got two teams going to do battle over the next 17 ends, is it? So 16 ends, sorry. So it's been a tough day in the office. We had some horrendous winds to start the day, which stopped us doing the live stream first thing. And as it settled, we got back in time to do a live stream of the ladies pairs, which saw Pat Huxon from Meadow Springs and Linda Young from Hall's Head be supreme over Sian Smith and Sue Collins, in which was a cracking game, albeit the scoreboard was a little bit one-sided, but the standard of bowls was just absolutely outstanding and a pleasure to be part of. With me today, and first of all, I must fail to address the fact that we're being sponsored by AFGRI, who have been key partners of Bowls in Bowls WA for the previous 4 country weeks, and we really value and appreciate their sponsorship, and hopefully it continues as we go forward. Also to BCIB, the preferred insurer for bowling clubs within WA, and in fact within Australia, who have been also long and loyal partners with Bowls WA. But talking of partners, I've got one beside me today in Linda Warburton, who will let us know, and welcome Linda, so your first little stint, and let us know who's playing in this fours final.
Okay, so we've got teams from Corrigan playing a team from Cape Hall. Corrigan team skippered by Nola Forbes. Kay Pulteney is her third. Karen Pulteney is second, and Sue Kabalis is leading. The Cape Hall team skippered by Marg Savickas. Shirley Hickey third, Bev McKenna second, and Pam Lloyd leading. This stage we just finished the first end. It's gone down to a measure, but I think Cape Hall might have picked up that shot with Marg's bowl that came in. So it's definitely just the one to Cape Hall in the first end.
So you've obviously had a successful country week yourself.
I have. I've had a very successful country weeks, apart from one last bowl by the opposition in the last 18 singles. But it was a cracking bowl, and yeah, she deserved the win. It was, pretty tough conditions. It was as windy as anything, but tough conditions. But yeah, it's good.
Your bowl to make her play that good bowl was fair.
Yes, I did have to make her play that bowl, but she played it perfectly. And as soon as it left her hand, I knew it was on target, but had not realised that it was going to pick up 3 to get the game. But that's fine. There has to be a winner and a loser, and unfortunately in these games, there's not 2 winners.
Yeah, loser's a harsh name when you see a game that close and up to that standard in those conditions.
Yeah.
The weather was the loser.
The weather was.
And so was our tent.
Yeah.
And so were the screens and computers that were blowing off. But
they
were perhaps only losers we had this morning, I thought.
Yeah, well, we did have to dodge those a bit because we're on the in-rink and everything went started to fly across the greens. But it's calmed down considerably now, and it's actually quite perfect for bowls. A little bit of wind, but certainly not playing havoc like it was.
And did you cross either of these 2 teams on your journey through the fours?
Yes, we did. We actually, the Corrigan girls, we met them in the sectional play. I think they beat us, I'm not sure, maybe 7 or something like that, but they all bowled beautifully down at Coburn, just managed to find it, and all very experienced bowlers. Obviously, they've all been in this position, or at least 2 of them have been in this position before playing finals when they played with Nolene Abbey. So, yeah, they're pretty not new to this at all. The Cape Hall girls, some of them have been in this position, I think, quite a long time ago. Maybe a couple of them, I think. We've got some notes here somewhere.
Margaret Savickas may have
Oh,
been.
no, she wasn't. In actual fact, Joy O'Brien, who's the sister of Nola Forbes and Karen Pulteney, was in that team. So Joy's sitting up on the bank watching, obviously barracking for her 2 sisters, but also as a member of Cape Hall. So a bit hard for Joy to decide who to barrack for today.
And Cape Hall have had a good season? Part of your Southwest League, Linda?
Yeah, Cape Hall have had a very good season. They ended up second on the ladder. And ended up winning the grand final down on Bustleton Greens, which is no mean feat because the Bustleton Greens are very tricky for anybody. They're pretty fast, and they had a really good season, especially the second half of the season. They really picked up and got lots of wins on the board.
and have dominated in the Southwest League for a while. They've been, albeit, not winning every year, but a tremendous record over the last 16 years, they tell me.
Yeah, they have. They've always had a pretty strong side. I mean, they are probably one of those places because they're sort of out, inland a little bit. They don't pick up a lot of players. People don't tend to retire to Capel like they do at Busselton and, Eton. They just don't pick the players up. But they've got a good, strong contingent of players led by, obviously Bev Scott has been there for a long time. But, a couple of new girls. But certainly always been up in the mix. Yeah.
And was Bev at Country Week this year?
Yes, Bev came with a different team this year. I'm not sure her team, how they actually went, her team, but I think there was 2 Capel teams that came. Yeah. So nice bowl
from Corrigan
by Karen Pulteney just to take shot.
So Karen's playing 3?
Karen's playing, Karen's playing 2. Sue Kabuli's is the pale blue bowls and she's leading. Shirley Hickey's just ran through with her maroon bowl. So Kay Pulteney now the 3rd for Corrigan Girls stepped up on the mat.
The purple bowl?
With the purple bowl. She played very, very well in the section play against us, Karen, and Kay did as well.
So the green this morning, it's dried out a bit now?
Yeah, certainly the green was running beautifully. You couldn't complain about the pace of the green this morning. I mean, the wind was the only factor, but the pace of the green was really nice. It was, I don't know, it would have been 14, I would think. But it was absolutely nothing wrong with the pace of the green this morning.
And that sort of pace gives a chance to grip the bowl and not the wind. If it'd been a 17-second green. Yeah,
I mean, you had to play anything short. The wind was going to affect it this morning. So, and anything you're trying to draw the perfect bowl, so you had to make sure you reached to hold its line. But it was tricky. But certainly conditions look like they've improved a little bit now.
So they played the state singles were played here on the reflection.
Okay.
That they were fantastic greens, and Gary Cox, who is the greenkeeper here, has done a marvellous job. Both greens are outstanding.
Yep.
I marked a few games yesterday with the rain and in the rain, and even with the rain, it it did take the pace off them, but the bowls weren't picking up anything. He's groomed them well. It's magnificent, and full credit to. Full credit to Wanneroo Bowling Club and to the greenkeeper, Gary Cox. And he was more than helpful this morning as we were racing around, setting up and praying for a change in the wind and hoping it would die off. But no, they've been very kind.
Yeah, very good.
Bowls, WA.
Well, I had 2 games yesterday on their synthetic, their first green on the synthetic, and they played that east-west, which was interesting because it made it a 40-metre green. But it ran lovely. Even, during the rain, before the rain, it wasn't super, super slick. Even after the rain, but it was running very nicely.
And Marg Savickas, you know much about Marg?
Yep, I do. Marg's skippers the side down there at Capel, has been a very, very good bowler for a long time. So she's a very astute skipper, and she's been bowling, quite a number of years.
27, in fact.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, well she's
So they'd be up near you.
Well, no, I haven't been bowling that long. 2002 I started, so
is that right?
23.
Right.
Yeah.
You were 23 when you started?
No.
Oh, no, sorry, 23 years. Sorry, I say.
that would make me a
That's
lot
right.
longer than 23 years. Yeah. No, she's probably been bowling 5 years longer than me. Yeah, very good.
And as we see the last ball come down from Nola Forbes.
Okay. And I think Capel holding one there. Nola's very close to the ball. Oh, she's just gone through a little gap.
So we suspect the first bowl comes out. That was Shirley's.
That was Shirley Hickey's maroon bowl.
And they're looking at that other one.
Pink they're looking at, I think, but maybe it's just
It's
just the one. Yep. So 1 to Capel.
So we spoke in the pairs game, Linda, about the length that you played with that wind. So when it's those conditions, do you favour a shorter end, so less time for the wind to work the bowl, or do you roll the dice and go tee to tee? Do you have a sort of strategy that you prefer?
No, nothing really. I did pick that Chris's bowls on a longer end held their line really well.
Yeah, right.
She had a red line, seemed to be an early straight red line.
Yep.
And held the line, but I did notice on the shorter ends when she was just trying to draw the perfect draw, the wind affected them a little bit more. I certainly took a lot more grass than what she did on what I thought was the narrow handle, the most wind affected side. But just trying to play what the opposition, trying to play what I thought might have got them, that they weren't playing as well. Yeah, sometimes you've got to make sure you don't fool yourself by changing things too much, especially in conditions like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Pam Lloyd, sorry, I should, from Capel on the mat. So you've obviously played against them, and she's only a new bowler. 4 years she's been playing. Yeah,
she's only been playing 4 years. So I've really only had 2 years back down in the country. So I haven't really got to know Pam that well, but she seems to be a pretty handy bowler. And at this stage, Capel struggle for numbers. They get their bare minimum of 12 players, and obviously, she's played well enough to be, keeping her position. So pretty handy bowler.
And her husband came via the corporate bowls, social bowls.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, track into bowls, which is great to hear. Or like to ask those sort of questions, and I also like to know what sporting background they've had, and you soon pick up. There are trends within it about what they've played and how quickly they adapt to the game. Is there quite an English population within Capel?
I don't think so. I don't know about that, really. I don't know much about Capel.
Just accents.
Capel's sort of between Bunbury and Bustleton, really. Farming, originally a farming area. So I wouldn't have thought so.
Didn't think so?
A few young families have moved in there.
So when they talk of playing darts, it's very much English, more of a... I mean, we play darts here, obviously. But so that was... I had a little chat with them this morning. It was who's played lots of country weeks and who hasn't, and who's new, and interesting. So second for the Corrigan side?
Second is Karen Poultney, who's the sister-in-law of Kay, who's the sister of Nola. So there's a bit of a family relationship going on here, and that was a nice bowl there by Karen. So she's holding shot, and I think they might be holding 3 there. Michael hasn't got the paddles up yet, but I'm sure he will. The bowl coming in here by Bev, very close.
So nice.
Yeah, Bev McKenna. And Nola's just calling Karen in now just to cover the back, cover and count, basically.
And Michael confirming your suspicion that they were holding 3 by holding up the paddles. I think Michael Hughes, very experienced ITO, giving generously of his time to officiate this afternoon. And
she's played the pretty handy bowl there. So he's just going to move just behind. Yeah, in a good position if things change.
So Shirley Hickey with her maroon bowls.
Shirley's been playing for a lot of years. I'm not sure if she's told you how many years, but I would think quite a lot of years.
26.
26 years, yeah.
Lots of country weeks.
Yeah, lots of country weeks. She did tell me she might have a year off bowls next year.
Oh, right.
Whether that's going to continue or whether she's decided after playing in a final, that's, I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, well, if they win today, going back-to-back is quite the achievement. And
it is.
Got to win the first one, I suppose. But
yeah, well, it's not, as I know, it's not easy going back-to-back.
And of course, you're the reigning singles champion.
Well, till a couple of hours' time.
Yes, you still own that title, and
Yeah, perfect bowl there by Kay. Holding 4 shots there. Corrigan. Shirley's come to spoil the fun, but I'm not sure she's quite made the length.
Oh, the mat's too far back for that weight, I think.
Yeah.
Linda? So, Country Week, hard to measure from without speaking to everyone. Success?
I think it's been a success. I know from Brunswick's point of view, we had 4 teams from our club, which is fantastic, and I think we had 4 Country Week virgins who really enjoyed themselves and played some great bowls, had some wins, had some losses, learnt a lot, and they'll all be back, I'm sure. But,
so 4 teams out of, what's your total membership of lady bowlers?
Well, we have 20 pennant players, so just a 12s and an 8. So it's pretty good. Yeah.
And it's just another opportunity to learn the craft.
Oh, absolutely, and they all have incredibly come along a long way. I mean, they're all keen and train on Mondays and playing as many things as they can, which is great. So Margaret's up against it. I think she might be 5 down here.
Yeah,
she's going to let that ball go, and
she's got room to get second shot.
Closely, she's got lots of room, but she's got weight. Well, she's got the weight, and she's really cut it out. She's definitely one. I'm not sure that back ball how far behind it is, but it's only 1.
So that's confirmed it. So the importance of second shot, Linda. Do you drill that into your players?
Absolutely, that's my mantra. Second shot. I don't always do it myself, but I do try and drum it into everybody else at how important second shot is.
It's only one thing better than second shot, and that's 2 second shots.
2 second shots. Yep. Yeah, pretty handy bowl there from Nola.
It does. So doesn't want to get that one up and over because then it may be risk of being in the count. But there is room to get under it.
There's room under it. Because you're playing that hand.
So this is going to get here.
It's definitely here, but she just wants to be careful she doesn't flick that white one over. No, she's not going to flick that white one over.
I think she was quite content for that to sit out wide.
Yep.
So Nola, left-handed?
Yeah, she's got an opportunity to get this one through and push her own bowl up to make another shot. Ooh, close. Just looking across the board now at the moment, Jacinta Zadow is up 15-11, and on the very end, Chris Lewis and Cheryl Tapscott, I think, are 11 all. Jacinta playing Trish Stone from Scadden, who's the previous Country Week singles winner.
As we see, 3 ends. 2 to Capel, 1 to Corrigan.
Yep.
And as they're just setting up and the jack's about to come down, state selector this year, Linda. Has that been a challenge?
Well, it doesn't really cause me too many sleepless nights, but it's getting to be more of a challenge as we're getting closer to picking final selections. But at the moment we've had one trial where we invited expressions of interest this year for girls to put their names up if they were interested in, playing playing more high performance bowls, state bowls, for instance. So we had a lot of applicants and huge number of applicants from the country. So we trialled, I think, 26 for the open team and 29 for the over 60s team. And we'll do another trial on the 27th. After that, we're going to drop the numbers back to 16 for each of them. So then from a whole weekend trial on the 16th and 17th of May, or 17th and 18th of May, whatever the Saturday, Sundays, we will then pick the sides. So the sides to go to Tasmania will be named in early June for us.
So we are at Country Week for hosting a country event.
Yep.
Many country bowlers within the squads.
Absolutely.
And previous, and one's not only current country bowlers,
Yep.
but previous
Yeah.
country bowlers.
Yeah, well, I think the country bowlers this year, we've got more than half of the squads are, just more than half are from the country. Plus we get the likes of the number of country origin bowlers that are have been part of the state team who now bowl in the Metro. So it's been a really, really good thing. I believe we've unearthed some new talent for both our open and over 60 sides, and the future's looking really bright. I mean, we don't have the young age that a lot of the other states have, but we've got certainly some girls that are, in their late 30s, early 40s that we're looking at as well.
So as the Leeds have finished their obligations, we've got Sue Kabulis as drawn just behind. She's bowled behind Jack, drawn shot, and a catcher at the back. So that's a great set.
Yep.
As Bev McKenna comes down with her green balls, and they're looking. She's going to just fail. Just fall underneath.
Yeah.
But beautiful way,
Yep.
in a good position,
Yep.
still in the game. She'll be happy with that.
Very good.
So conditions you expect in Tasmania, Devonport, they'll be at the country club?
Well, from what we've heard, the greens are going to be, they could be slow. It really depends on the season they get, but we're sort of not expecting anything to be, much more than maybe 13. But there is apparently an undercover, so that will be a synthetic and maybe run a little bit quicker. So we've actually got to pick players who are adaptable, can play, all lengths, all types of surface. So, it might be quite interesting, really. Depend on the weather that they've had for the season previous coming up. Yeah.
So Nola asking her second, the third, to get a draw around that bowl that they own anyway, and see if she can beat the bowl that's on the wing, which is currently second shot. So that's a fair effort.
Yeah, very good ball. Two.
So no
Correction.
men's input into men's selection this year, Linda?
No, the board decided that the women would pick women and the men would pick women. So we have 3 selectors, which includes the state coach, Alan Booth. Irene Arndt and I we're both selectors. However, I won't be selecting the over 60s because I've got my name up for trialling.
Right.
Yeah,
and just to finish that part of the conversation off, so that's where Peter Harris, who is chair of high performance, he comes onto the panel for that selection. So
certainly I've been able to have a bit of input into making up the teams and that for our trials, which has been great. But that's my role as a selector really of the over 60s, but certainly be helping out with the open with Alan. Yeah.
So this is Shirley Hickey. She'll be with them some, but long enough to have spanned a few different sort of decades, if you like, and just the one to Corrigan. So, and I have asked you this question before, but not everyone would have been listening last time.
No.
So,
well, I did say Lee Paletti. I suppose when I went home and thought more about it, I've got to put Karen Murphy in there as well.
No, we'll bring it back down to WA bowlers.
To WA, probably Lee, Roma. There's a lot really of very good bowlers. Nolly Nabby certainly up there. Kerry Anderson, some very, very good bowlers from WA we've produced in our time.
And you would have played in some state sides with some of those bowlers?
I have, yes, with all of them actually. I've led for Nolan, and I played third to Nolan, played third to Lee, and I think I've led for Lee. So I played with them.
And you missed out on the Mosman Park flag this year. I'm sure you enjoyed it.
I did miss the Mosman Park flag this year, after all those years being there. But I got a flag myself last year, my first year back in the country, so that sort of helped a little bit.
And you did get one 10 years ago.
At Mosman Park I did.
Great.
So I've got 2 somewhere in the depths of my cupboards. There's a couple of little badges. But it was a great win to the Mozzie Park girls, and if they hadn't won it this year, they were never going to win it they would have had to disband, I would think,
I
and
reckon
start again.
Lisa might have been playing at Brunswick, I reckon, if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
suspect.
Well, we might have invited them all, but anyway, they got it, and not easy. Certainly, Safety Bay took it up to them.
So Lisa was going to do live stream this morning, and of course, whether she organised the win tonight, but she was very relieved when she got out of it. But so disappointed that I didn't get to commentate with the great Lisa Featherby.
Absolutely.
She would have puts a different spin on it, and everyone does in their commentary. So I would have so enjoyed that. Not that Wendy hasn't been fantastic, but that different perspective on how she calls a game and sees a game. She should have had a few drives and. That they probably didn't play today that she certainly would have run at.
Looks like Corrigan are holding one here at least. Maybe not now. So one to Capel. Great ball by Pam Lloyd.
And she's quite happy about it too.
Yep.
And so she should be.
She should. It's always a big relief when the lead can, get somewhere around nice and close, and especially if they pick up the shot. And
it adds value, means the value of her first bowl, which is behind the head, just doubled,
Yes. Karen's not far away from giving the little blue one a flick over. Oh, she's just going to run past, but it's ended in a very good home.
Yeah, so she wouldn't have placed it that much differently if she knew she was going behind. So, so we've seen the green bowls from Bev McKenna. You were comfortable playing that wide hand with this morning?
Yeah, I don't know that I played it that well. I tend to, I found the grass, but I didn't get my weight all the time. It was either short or long. The narrow hand was different both ways, going away from the buildings. It actually took a bit of grass, but coming back the other way, it didn't take any. So it was different.
So this ball's just going to stay high side, but once again, it's in that catching position. Yeah, righto. And the Gus, did you stop and walk back off the mat a few times?
Lots of times, but there got to be the gust was happening all the time, so it was just going to hold the game up too much by standing back all the time. It was very gusty. Sometimes you just let the ball go, and you could do nothing about it. And we're all playing in it. We're all playing the same conditions in it, so. Yeah.
So Jacinta's game's wound up.
Jacinta's finished. Yeah, she's finished. I did think the semi-finals was going to 21, but maybe not. Only the final. This is not a bad ball here. She flicks that one up and over, not quite. And they've had a few opportunities just to touch that blue ball up and over, but.
I love the fact that there's no balls in front of the head bar. The two that count.
Very good.
First and second.
Yeah. Shirley's got a pretty handy bowl here with good weight. She's put it in a very, very good position.
And that's the pick of the catches, just quietly.
It's a very good bowl. Still, Nola's team are still trying to flick that blue bowl up and over.
So Kay, with her chance to get the second shot, which they own, only needs to stand over and flop down the other way.
Yep. Calling it to hold. She's not quite got the weight to do that, I don't think. Not quite. Another bit. Yep.
So Shirley Hickey trying to add to the one they already have got.
Yep.
It's coming in.
She's adjusted her weight pretty well. Not quite going to reach, I don't think.
No, it's just going to stay a bit on the high side.
Yep. Not quite reaching. So it's up to Nola to see if she can do what she's been calling the others to do, just to get that blue bowl of Suka Ballies is up and over. Margaret's got to stop her doing that. The other singles final over on rink 4. Looks like Chris Lewis is up by 2 shots to the girl from Denison, and might have just drawn the shot here, Chris. Not quite. So Denison are holding maybe 2. So we'll bring it to one and a measure as Mark Vatry, who's marking over there. says.
So Nola's a little bit shy on that
A
one.
little bit, yep.
It's not what she had intended to do, but it's what happens.
All right.
We don't try to be short.
We don't try and be short.
We don't try to be narrow, but
No.
so it just happens. It's
Yep.
part of the game.
Yep.
But it's a game of correction, as you well know, Linda.
Yeah, Margaret's
that could
not short, and this could get a little work here. Not quite.
So I'd suggest this one's going to reach.
This would have to reach.
Depending on the weight, she's certainly in
reaching.
the neighbourhood here.
She's got,
Just
not
slides
quite.
high.
Just missed the edge of it. That's one to Capel still, but they've got an opportunity to move. Mark's got an opportunity to move her own bowl in to get a second shot.
So she's asking direction.
Yeah,
So
she's
be
thinking about
aggressive.
taking the blue bowl out, and she might pick up 3 or 4.
So risk reward. She can get hold of her own and pump through.
But she did. I did hear her say, "I'm nowhere near the damn thing." But anyway, she gave it a chance because she reached. Just the one to Capel. It looks like the singles game's 15-14 to Chris Lewis's 15.
So Chris, of course, was in a few as we got into the pointy end of the competition. She was still in the 4s.
Yeah, she played a lot of games yesterday. She just looked pretty exhausted last night, but she fronted up again this morning and did the same thing, and she looks like she's just on autopilot.
And fronted up early. You started.
We were here at 7:45 this morning, so we got on the green just after 8. So just to get that game through.
We'd only been here an hour and a half by the time you got here, but that's right.
Yes, that's right. You had been up much earlier than us. Well, I've probably been awake since that time.
So Peter had to drive from Rockingham or that part of the world.
Yep.
Get here, set up. The tent was up when I got here, and although the wind was trying to bowl down, fantastic start.
Good start, Pam.
And then get everything laid out, get as much right as he possibly could.
And then take off to
and
play pennant final.
Which they proceeded to win, so I'm over the moon.
Absolutely.
He did that.
He does an unbelievable amount of work. People just do not realise how many hours, how many miles Peter does.
And then he'll come from, as we see the lead come down, which looks like a fair bowl to me, just quietly.
Good.
It seems to, it'll just slide.
Not too shabby. It's not close to shot.
And then he'll finish playing bowls, a prelim, and then he'll drive up here, and then hopefully, or maybe, we'll have everything packed up for him. If not, he'll be in here ripping it all down and heading back. And then tomorrow he could be setting up and playing in a grand final, so we'll see.
Okay, finals are at Thornley tomorrow, is that right?
Correct. The only good news about Thornley is it's closer for Peter to get to.
Yes,
so
very good.
I admire the work he does is endless and tireless. It is amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to be watching some bowls at Thornley tomorrow because we've got a couple of the girls who play open gender who will be playing tomorrow, so it'll be a good opportunity to go and see them play.
Yep.
Whether I stay for the whole time, I'm not 100% sure. Haven't been home for a week, so maybe I better go and say hello.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ross was up the other day. Sorry. Was it?
Yeah, he was.
We went to
the funeral.
We went to David Kilch Van Horn's funeral, which was sad, but also a great celebration of a fantastic person who was tireless.
Lovely man.
He was one of the great men.
That's a great bowl from Bev McKenna. Shot with that one. Noel hasn't called her on a shot that's not achievable. She's just called her into cover or get around the head. So
you would have looked at it on the other hand, I'd suggest.
I thought I probably would because it's sitting nearly jack high, but she's done this pretty well.
So the skip, a roll short.
Yeah, a bit more than a roll short, I'd suggest, because she's still holding to Capel.
So this is repeat.
Bev McKenna.
So hopefully she's got this on redial. The skipper be hoping, and
She's
there's
very
clapping,
handy.
and it's being acknowledged
Very
as another
handy
great
bowl.
bowl.
Just going to drop short.
But a
Yep.
fair set.
Fair.
Sits
Good.
stayed up on the running surface,
Yeah.
which will help if someone gets
Yep.
hold of it.
Yep.
And once again, Nola will use
Yep.
that other hand, get
Yep.
her.
Right up to the white one.
So 2 foot on the last, I
She's
think may be the
carrying.
call.
Well, she's got a good track for it and maybe the right weight.
So
And she's not far away at all. Oh, that's a pretty handy bowl. Just cut one out, so she's only holding one to cable now. And it looks like the game over there has finished, and I'd suggest that maybe Chris Lewis has taken that game.
is it Cheryl Tapscott, the Denison
Yes,
lady?
Cheryl Tapscott.
I marked that game, her game yesterday. Well, great bowl here.
Very good. Very good by Shirley. Yep.
She's been very good. Very good start to
Yes,
this game, Shirley.
very good. Yep.
Yeah, and Cheryl's newish bowler.
Yeah.
Hasn't been in Denison very long.
No, I believe she came from Pickering Brook or somewhere like that, did she?
That I don't know,
no.
because I spoke about it. I've got a mate,
Yep.
some
Yep.
good people in. They're all good people in Denison, of course, but know a few people up there, and
Yep.
So she's only a new bowler, but
Yeah.
obviously a very talented bowler.
Yeah, she's got some potential and good age, I'd say, for her to be continuing on and, looking at what the future might hold for her.
She she had the she can bowl, but she had the composure to
Yes,
go with it. And
she does. Yep.
A lot of people can bowl, but not
Yep.
everyone has that composure, and she
Yep.
seemed to be fit the bill there.
And that's one thing we've said to the state players trialling, that, we're looking at your bowls, but it's not all about your bowls. There's lots of other things to take into consideration.
Body language come into it.
Body language, the demeanour on the green, the way they approach the other players, the way they speak to each other, just all those things.
So
Yeah.
combinations, is that a key part of your selection?
Yeah, it is. Looking at, we know players who can play well together. You probably don't want a rink of players who are very, very quiet altogether, or a rink of 4 rowdy ones and have the other 2 rinks as quiet ones. So a good mix, and I think we've got a pretty good mix of players. Yeah. Okay, Paul might be holding 2 here.
Yeah, well, that's what Michael
indicated. Yep.
Because his wife played in the Mosman Park winning pennant the Wednesday.
She did.
The Tuesday
Yep.
pennant's played on Wednesday
Yeah.
for the final,
Yep.
live streamed out of Cambridge.
Yep. So Claire was she came from Warwick to Mosman Park while I was still there, and she was part of the academy group that I coached for a few years. So, she's a pretty handy bowler, and I think she was more than serviceable in the finals.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I obviously watched it.
Yeah.
Although I tried to watch all the games and be impartial,
Yes.
as is my expectations and my
Yep.
role in the organisation,
Yep.
which I didn't do that well.
So this is an interesting shot here of Nola's, that she called the others on the other hand and has played this hand.
Oh, skippers, they save that
I
easy
know,
shot.
save the shot for themselves.
There.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So one thing we do know is she should not be short.
No, she's
Weight was probably all right. She
Yeah.
just didn't miss the line a little.
Yeah, yep. I would have thought that other green was probably in her eye there, but we're looking on the screen.
Well, the beauty of 2 bowls is you've got one left.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
game of correction, so she just needs to correct.
It's pretty handy, this one here from Margaret too. Yeah, she's on board. Well done. Let's keep on holding 3 there now.
Yeah, we may see our first multiple of the game.
Yeah.
So she's played one on that side, but she is a skip, so
Yep. Debating what hand she'll play.
it's been decided. So
Come back to this hand.
she'll play this wider hand. She's got her bowls coming in.
Yeah. Got a fair amount of weight on her. She got too much weight to let it come back, I think, unfortunately.
There was way too high. There's more chance of Harold Holt coming back than that one, Linda.
Way too high. Too much weight. Way too high. Doesn't seem to be as big a draw on this side as there was in the previous few games.
So, two have been taken out.
Yep.
So, our first multiple of the game.
Yep. Not quite. Just three. So 3 to Capel. It jumps them up.
So that takes them to 6-2.
After 7 ends.
Or
or 6 ends. 6 ends.
Correct. So, South West League, which you're part of.
Yep.
Been there for the last 2 years, or will be come from there before.
Yep.
Have gone open gender.
Yes, they have. Well,
Saturday open gender. Sorry.
They are open gender, but not all of the clubs have embraced it. I'm very fortunate. I'm at a club that has embraced it, and we have quite a few girls playing through our different divisions, and it's worked great. And I've really enjoyed playing the open gender, and the men are very accommodating, and had some great games.
Enlighten me on process for selection. Do you have both genders selecting, or
no?
How do you
no,
with that?
Well, at this stage we don't. We have the men are selectors, but they are very fair. I better say that because Ross is the chairman of selectors.
I was just about to ask whether Ross is chairman of selectors.
And I've been getting a game, so that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But no, they look. I believe they do select on merit, and that's the only way you can select an open gender team. Just because it's open gender, it doesn't mean that the women have to be picked. And, some do have that idea that, well, it's open gender now, so you've got to put a woman there. Well, that's not true. We've all got to be picked on merit, and, certainly if players are not playing well, whether they're male or female, they don't have to be picked.
No, that's correct. You're very lucky that you've got Ross at the club because, you're obviously probably more biased than them, but I worked with Ross, who was our country director and during my time, and on the board of Bowls WA, and always had a high respect and high regard and high opinion of Ross. So I know he's really fair, so he'll see it really clearly and be able to pick it on merit. Whereas I know the biggest pushback we get from the clubs is, they run through that story where some of the selections are biased, if you like, but we don't do any selections from Bowls WA, so that's something for the clubs to sort out.
Absolutely.
As having the right people in the right clubs, hard to sell a model and set up a model, but what it is what it is.
Yeah.
So who does that mean that the final in the ladies singles will be
Jacinta?
Jacinta?
Will be Jacinta Zatto and Chris Lewis, which should be a good final, and will be televised after this one, I guess, will it? Is that what the plan is?
That's the plan.
Yeah. This has still got a fair time to go, but...
we do have a cut-off time.
Okay.
And it's been a tough day.
It's been a tough couple of days, I think.
Couple of days,
yeah.
Well, the rain yesterday, I come up here yesterday and Mark, when the weather went, was starting to go look a bit pear-shaped, thought if someone's going to stand in the rain, it's probably best if I do it.
Yeah.
Be one of the people that stand in it, but we didn't get much. It was enough to be annoying and didn't actually get wet.
No, I had just 2 games yesterday on the synthetic and never really got too wet. Just a few showers, but didn't really affect me. But there was a couple of girls who actually got quite wet.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So
Sue's on the jack. There are 2 blue bowls, Sue Caballi's, and then Karen Poltney's just put a nice one in a great position just behind.
Yeah, so if you're going to draw a third shot, albeit you already own the first 2, if you're going to put it somewhere, that's where you put it.
Absolutely. Bev McKennan's not far away here.
She just got that glide that didn't help the outcome.
Yeah.
But she had a perfect weight. Now, it's too far in front. No, it's not. Oh, no, she's going to cover completely.
Calling into the back, which is a very good strategic.
We haven't seen much driving all day, Linda.
No.
Very surprised.
Yep. I think that comes from there's only the few women who probably will drive at a lot of things that have the confidence. Christina, Lisa, you know, they drive to, you know, make shots, whereas the rest of us probably try to draw ourselves out of trouble a bit more. Yeah, so that's good.
So we're joined at the table by no one less than Vicky Eva.
Vicky, the famous Vicky Eva, who had to give me the bad news of you're 3 down on the last end, not 2. I was thinking I was 2, that's why I brought the mat up, but that third bowl.
Sorry about that, but it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know, like I say, Vic, there had to be a winner and a loser, and yeah,
Brilliant bowls.
it was good. In the conditions, I thought it was a pretty good game.
So is this one up and going?
Oh, well, it's a very, very good bowl of K's out of luck. Just went to the bowl of Shirley Hickey.
So, Vicky, just question, as your position within Bowls WA and the umpiring community, just enlighten us a bit so people can know.
All voluntary. I don't know if people realise that, as most things are in Bowls WA. Got an umpires committee, a few of us are getting on, so we're trying to mentor and get younger people involved. Nationals in WA again next year, so we're trying to get more people qualified to come and mark games and be involved as umpires.
And for those who don't know, country girl yourself?
Country girl, originally Brookton, started playing bowls there and then moved to Three Springs, so played bowls up there in Northern Zone. Lots of friends. It's great coming to Country Week and catching up with everyone.
And this week, your workload this week, do you want to expand on what's happening in the head there, Linda, for us, please?
Yeah, so at this stage, Capel are holding a shot with Shirley Hickey's back bowl, which unfortunately was, the jack was touched as Kay Pulteney came through. Just slightly moved the jack, but they are holding 2-3 seconds maybe. Yeah, so not an easy shot for Nola to get to. By the looks of things, it's just sitting in a precarious position just behind.
And your commitments during Country Week?
Yesterday was a big day. We had pairs at our club, Mosman Park, Wednesday, but unfortunately my involvement was minimal as we had a funeral of one of our umpires on Wednesday. But it was a great day that they had. And yesterday, big day, left home about 7, got home at 9. This morning left about 6:45. Be home earlier. We need to decide whether we're going to play the singles consecutively and broadcast the second half or wait till this finishes.
So have they had a big enough break to be able to start?
They have. The issue is, will we run out of daylight because there's no lights on the screen?
So they need to start now then?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Your call, Mr. President.
I think you need to start them.
So I think we'll start it.
It's a pretty good bowl of K's.
If we're having to do it from afar, we just have to. Because otherwise... it'll take 10 minutes to start it.
So looks like the fours will continue on this rink, obviously, and the singles final between Jacinta Zaddo from Kojonup, Chris Lewis from Lehman, will commence fairly soon.
So a good little crowd, Linda?
Yeah, I think there's a really good crowd when you consider you've got to come from, you know, I mean, probably a lot of these people are from this neck of the woods, south Geraldton, but, you know, coming from the south where I came from this morning, it seems like you're never going to get here. But, yeah, I think it's a pretty good crowd. It's great to see the support from, you know, people, you know, have got a player in from their own club. So the support's great.
And it's such a good club to view from as well. You
It's
know,
a great...
decking.
Yep. The decking's fantastic, but you can't quite get... what a great bowl by Kay. Just came off another bowl, pick up the shot, maybe 2, I'm not sure, the pink might be second shot. Yeah, but a very good bowl. Very good bowl. 2. Yeah. By Nola, sorry.
Yes.
Nola, that was. Just
2 to
came up.
Corrigan.
2 to Corrigan. So sticking with them. It's not far away, but yeah, no, the viewing up there is really good, especially, you know, everybody getting up there and even getting behind the window and inside. They could see a lot yesterday on the synthetic green on the first green.
And as we see our trusty Vicky Eva go off and try
Yep.
to organise the start of the singles, but
Yep.
we speak about AFGRI, and I know they're big supporters of John Deere.
Yep.
With their, I always say she's from Carnamah, which gets
Yep.
it cranking, but
Yep.
big dealership up there. But yeah, from Three Springs, and we're very, very lucky to have AFGRI on board, and
Yep.
with its generosity that they've shown over the last 4 years, and we're actually in negotiations now, and we're just hoping that they will embrace it. It's such an important part of our organisation. It's a good relationship, and we look forward to them coming on board for another few more years.
Yeah, the sponsorship is fantastic, and, you know, a bit of advertising for them as well.
They do.
Yep. Yeah, nice line there from Sue, just dropping a metre and a bit short. Pam's got plenty of room to draw a shot in here. She's got a pretty good line. She just gets around the blue. She's just around it. Yeah, still a little bit short. So Sue's got a chance to correct here with from her first one. And she's keeping her eye on it pretty well, and I think she's done a pretty good job of... Done a very good job. It's the shot. There's still a little bit of room for the lead from Capel.
You're right. I'll get.
Oh, yeah, no, Wendy can. Yep. Oh. Okay, so Pam's gone to the back, which is pretty handy. They never wasted a bowl at the back. It's up to Karen now to try and draw shots. Draw one close. They are holding one. Corrigan. Just going to hold out its line a little bit, but in a pretty good position. Wendy Flax coming back on the panel to join me now. Put some female insight into the game, seeing it is the female women's country week final. Karen just makes a slight correction here. Oh, she's just dropped that a wee bit short, unfortunately. So Bev McKenna having another go. Coming in quite nicely. Maybe a little bit too much weight on it. So it's one to the white, one to Corrigan at this stage. Certainly conditions are better this afternoon, Wendy, than this morning. A little bit of wind, but not...
nothing that should impact.
No, that's right. So holding 2 there for Corrigan. Shirley Hickey's bowl coming down to sit very nicely in there. And she has got
Nice bowl.
the shot, I would think. Very close. It's a close call for shot. Couple of options here for Kay. She's got a couple of bowls to touch up. Pretty handy sort of line. Just wants to work its way in, but she's just a little bit wide. Margaret's making the call. She thinks they might be just down, capable of just down, so giving her a bit of a foot there, so where she can come in from. I think she might have just cut a grass a tiny little bit, Shirley, but had very good weight for the shot. So up to the two skips now to see if they can make a difference.
It's been a good game, hasn't it?
Has
Early
been.
on.
Yep, been a good game. Nobody's getting away with big numbers. I think a 2 was scored and it was probably the highest, maybe a 3. Yep.
Similar length to what's been played most of the day.
Yeah, they haven't.
all rings.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not been anything too drastic being played. I think they're playing the conditions fairly well. First ball on its way. And she's going to bend a wee bit. Yeah, she's come in, and that's
was good.
the shot, I would think. Let's let her ball go. And she looks like she's got pretty handy weight on it. That's a pretty good bowl, but just a little bit overweight. Kay's bowl coming up a bit short this time. Good line, but just a wee bit short. Just missed it again, Mark. This might bring them up with 2 shots here, bring them up to be level. Not sure if they're going to measure this or they're just going to wander around for a bit. Lots of pointing.
And point. Yep.
Wander and point. Yep. Obviously, Karen's doing the measuring for Corrigan at this stage. So measuring the closest of the Capel bowls, and then she'll go around to their 2 that look to me like they might be counters. Blue one I would think maybe in as well. Wind starting to pick up a little bit behind us.
Yep. Here it comes. Nice little gust.
Just a wee gust just to test them. So 2 shots there to Corrigan. So the scores are 6-all on 8 ends. Still anybody's game. Doesn't seem to be anybody going to break away at this stage.
Which is what you want in a final.
You do want that in a final, yep. So he's putting the jack down, and getting it to the feet of Nola or just past. Very good jack roll. Handy bowl, first bowl here by Sue. She's reached the head. Very good bowl, just sitting behind, 12 inches behind the jack.
Perfect lead bowl.
perfect lead bowl, just what you'd want your lead to play if you had a choice.
And what the lead would want to play if they had the choice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pam's isn't too bad either. Her weight's pretty good. She's just gone behind, so very handy bowl. You can always come back from that. Always easier to come back from a bowl behind than having a short bowl and often overcorrect, in my opinion.
Well, your teammates prefer it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Another fairly handy bowl here by Sue. Yeah, she's on there this
Good
time.
bowls.
That's two very, very good lead bowls. Pam's just overshot this one a little bit, but she's going to stay on the rink, so that's the main thing. She's there in a pretty good catching position. Okay, Karen's let her first ball go. Heading down the rink on a good line. Whether it's going to come back enough, but if she gets to this back bowl, you would think that that would be a handy bowl. Oh, she's just jack high. Unfortunately, slightly in front. Bev's trying to twist the body around so the bowl comes around. It's working very well. And she's not far out of that too. She gave it a chance. She's gone through a metre, but she's given it a very good chance. Chance here for Karen. She's corrected with the weight a bit more. She's got a bit more up there. Yeah, it's not a bad bowl there. Bev's on a nice path again. She's played some very good bowls in this game, Bev. And just gone through, but the line was good. She's ended up with two bowls in the same position.
See the singles, first end of the singles is just completed. Just into Zato, collecting two that end against Chris Lewis from Lehman.
Across the head there, Kay. Ball coming into view here by Shirley. She's not very far away at all. And just dropped a little bit short. And still holding two to Corrigan, I would think. Pretty close. Second
close.
shot. One and a measure as signalled by Michael. Oh, she's got to wait. Too bad. We'll wait on this one for Shirley, and she's not far away moving that. Oh, she's taken the second shot out, so it's definitely just one now to Corrigan.
Good bowl.
It was a very good bowl. She had good weight. She didn't play too much weight. She just played enough to move the ball through.
So Nola and Kay have got a good history at Country Week.
Yeah, well, they
Together?
have. They've played, yeah.
They've won one in 2013 in the fours with Nolene Abbey and I think it was Judy Conley
Okay.
from memory.
Well, they are sisters,
Yeah.
Nola and Kay, so they play well together.
Yeah.
Not too many family fights. Play well together, and Karen's a sister-in-law.
And Sue had the absolute pleasure of teaching one of our sons when we were encouraging.
Okay. It's a pretty handy bowl by Nola coming up if she gets past the red one. And she's not quite there, but she had a very good line for it. She probably needs to planning to reach the back red bowl.
And Margaret was actually part of the last winning fours team for Capel at Country Week, which was, the second last. So 2006 they won it, but in 1999 Marg was part of that team as well.
Yeah, well, it must have been when she was a fairly new bowler.
She would have been in her 20s or 30s.
No, she was bowling 26 years, I think. Maybe a bit older than that, Wendy.
No, in her 20s or 30s for sure.
20 years ago, say. You might need a calculator for that one. There's a good bunch of ladies here watching today from the sidelines.
It's been a good crowd all day.
Yes, it's been very good. Obviously easy for a lot of them to get here if they're north of the city. But coming from the south, might have been a bit different. It's like coming up to South Geraldton for me.
Depends on your perspective.
That's right. That's right.
This is North Albany for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, a bit wide, Margaret, by her own admission, when she let it go. And maybe long. Okay, so measuring for shot by the looks, but I would think the blue has got to be in before the front one.
Yep.
Yeah, so one to Corrigan.
Good to cut it down.
Good to cut it back, they did. Yeah, so Corrigan take the lead now, 6-7. 15 ends they'll be playing. So they're just over halfway. And Sue lets the jack go.
So Corrigan have come back in a fashion, won the last three ends.
Yep. We're in the singles game. Chris Lewis has just picked up the shot there. At the moment it's 2-all. And Chris has got the mat and putting the jack down, which she would have done many, many times over these few days.
She did tell me she was going to have a day of rest tomorrow.
Good job. Very good start by Sue. She's just behind. She's leading very well. Pam is not too shabby either, coming in nicely. Yeah, very good start by Pam. Very good start. She's got the shot with that one. He's made a fairly good correction here. Gets past that one, which is not what weight was perfect. Pam might have just dropped the weight off in this one. She had a very good line. Just dropped the weight, so they are holding one Capel. Good ball here by Karen. And the weight was very good. McKenna might have just run into the front bowl of Pam Lloyd's, but would have had pretty good weight. I think Karen's just dropped a weight off this time. She's ended up in a very good home. She was actually after to sit on that white ball, but she's in a very good home. Misses that, she's pretty good.
And she has.
That's a pretty good bowl. That's a
Very
great bowl.
good.
Very good bowl by Kay Pulteney. Draw shot. Perfect weight. Shirley Hickey's come down now. She's not very far away, but she's just gone under the head slightly. Chris Lewis might be holding shot over there.
Yes, just the one.
One to Chris. There's them to 3. Chris to 3-2. Very good ball. Might be holding 2 there, Corrigan now. The white ball just behind, I think, might be in before the front one. She's got weight to do it, Shirley. Oh, she almost did. Hit her own front one through instead, but has stayed in and around the head. So that's a good option. Chris Lewis has nailed the jack over there almost, slightly in front, but the first very good bowl. Always good to get that first one on because it gives you confidence, then you can, you know, just play the same bowl.
Oh, it's nice to put the pressure on the opposition.
It is,
first up.
yeah, because they often chase that bowl in all the time, which is what's happened here, I would think. It's not far away, Jacinta. Not far away at all. Oh, weight's very good. So Nola's weight's perfect. Just needed to bring that in slightly, but always good to have a bowl out that side. Margaret's coming down with a pretty well weighted bowl. Just needs to get onto hers. That's hers, and
Well
not
played.
very
Well
good
played.
bowl. Very, very good bowl. Not sure who's got the shot. Shirley calls it not sure. It's a good measure. A very good measure. The pink bowl looks like it wants to fall over. It's coming down with good weight. Has she got enough Just not quite planning to use that blue bowl she was.
The working bowl.
Yep. Just doesn't look like anybody's going to make a breakaway in this game. They're both bowling very well. Margaret's not far away at all.
Second great bowl.
That's a very, very good bowl. She might have picked up a couple here. No, just the one. Oh, and the marker's signalling two. But
yeah, no, two.
It was two?
In the account.
Okay, we've just had another change in the seat. It's all about teamwork here, Doug. Thanks very much to Linda.
No, it's good getting an insight from Linda, apart from her vast knowledge of the game, but the insight into the state selection and the process and the people and the country connection. So it was great. So
It's 7 after 10. Good
5
game.
ends to go.
Good game.
So you work your way into the state squad or anything, did you, during that chat, Wendy?
No.
No? Wasted.
No.
No?
Yeah. No, it's pretty strong squad this year.
So Sorrento, just for your insight, I know it's Metro Bowls, but Sorrento beat Wanneroo,
Yes.
and so they're now playing Osborne Park. Where
for a spot in one white, yeah, which would be really good for our club. Move up with a Premier and one white, which would be great.
And conversely, it'd be very good for Osborne Park to maintain their one white status.
Yeah, but Doug, you know.
If they don't do it, there might be repercussions for me. Anyway.
Well, there won't be any repercussions for me, so.
So we've been treated to another cracking game.
Really good. Good head. Good heads, good ends, good bowls.
So it seems to be the Leeds day out, doesn't it? We saw in the pairs, didn't we? We saw an entire game of Leeds both being exceptionally close and
setting it up for their team.
Yep. So Karen Poultney, well-known name in Corrigan, of course. So these green bowls of Bev McKenna's she was having a field day with them when I was doing my stint earlier on. She's still been on fire?
She's been there and abouts most ends, yeah. If anything, behind, which is a good thing.
Yep. And it's the sort of game that's going to be needed.
It doesn't take much movement for the jack to move on this green. Beautiful green.
So there's still a bit of breeze, but certainly not what we had this morning. Wendy, we were entertained by the weather.
Yeah, we had a big gust while you were absent, Doug, but we managed to hold down the fort, literally. But yeah, generally it seems much better.
So Shirley Hickey's also had a pretty solid game. These maroon bowls, although some say they're red, some say they're maroon, but to me they're maroon.
Well, Shirley swears they're red.
Well, her bowls like, oh. So she slices it.
Red and white now.
See, they're all using spray markers.
Yes.
After the story got around about someone trying to mark their bowl with a tablet and having taken the chalk for brekkie. But
It's all about educating our bowlers, Doug.
So Shirley's gone on to a backhand. She just played a previous bowl on the forehand. So this would be the high side. And that little bit of breeze coming across. So it's all about the weight, and I don't think...
Not quite.
Not disappointingly short, but not quite far enough. So Corrigan will own that forehand, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Both their bowls.
The one, yeah.
Sue Kabulis owns those two blue bowls.
She does. She's been bowling very well. Both leads have.
Yes. That's a fair effort. Beautiful weight. Just didn't quite swing. Just need to swoop a little bit harder. Because
Zeta looks like she's holding 2 on the singles rink, with Chris Lewis about to put down her final bowl.
so it's been a massive effort by Leonie Potts up there and controlling things up in the office and getting everything moving and continuing on.
Yep.
Maybe
Another
maybe
one
she
of our
needs
great
more.
volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely. And for us to get all the finals out today as she gets that rub. No, she doesn't. She gets through the gate.
And Jacinta has picked up 2. She now leads 5-3 in the singles final.
21 shots up for that.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
17 for all the previous games. 21 for the final.
So Nola Forbes, she has played this very well, but it slides through. Far from wasted. So will she use the same weight Marg Savicki on this one? Savickas? Savickas. Well, inside rub will help here. Not quite. So Nola holding one, looking to add. Needs to add. It's one of those games that if you get the opportunity to add, you must do it. 8-7 after 10 tells you that it's been tight. Perfect grass, metre short. And we'll wait for Michael. We'll wait for the girls to decide who will then... Just the one. So, one to Corrigan. So bowls continues tomorrow, Wendy's.
Yes, the men's Saturday pennant finals.
At Thornley.
Yes.
Which will again be on live stream, and that'll be via YouTube again tomorrow. And streamer. Is it streamer as well or just YouTube? So it's streamer as well. So we'll get plenty of coverage. It gets out and about. So
Unfortunately, I won't be there tomorrow, Doug.
I will be there, but I won't be live streaming. Oh, I'll depend. No, we'll have Ken and Troy. No, they'll be playing. Well, they think they'll be playing. Oh, it's pretty close actually. I had the scores flicked through to me. Yeah, Cambridge v Osborne Park. As much as Osborne Park have got the wood over them on a Thursday, not necessarily the case on a Saturday. So we'll see how that pans out. It was close. There's only a few shots in it the last time message I got.
That's only twice you've mentioned Thursday now, Doug.
Yeah, I just only mentioned the result, but as we see that one flop in, you know, Pam, for someone who's only been playing bowls for 4 years, she's actually exceptional. She's got
very good.
Someone. I mean, I suggest she's had coaching, but if she hasn't, anything that she needs tidying up while she's a new bowler, obviously a talented new bowler, this won't be the last time she plays in a Country Week final if she's going to keep bowling like this. Sue Kaboulis also had a fair game, hasn't she?
She has had a good game.
I think it's something all the live streams I've been involved in, we certainly bring the best out of the leads. You know, you can certainly judge. You've got nothing to rest on, and you've got to do it on your own merits. And
everyone knows it's the hardest position, Doug.
It is, yes. No, that's it's pretty lonely leading. Having done a little bit of it myself. Once I learnt to count, they let me play 2. The curator here, the greenkeeper, Gary Cox, he's done a cracking job, you know.
He has.
I mean, you just look at it, it's picturesque, you know, the evenness over this green. Obviously it's flat, but he's got it at a pace that gives us a good game of bowls. You know, like, I'm not saying everyone can make them fly. You don't need to make them fly. This pace is conducive to a good game. And especially with the wind, you know, it gives a chance to grip the bowl. You're not going to get them, you know, swept sideways. And I take my hat off to him and also to the whole Wanneroo bowling club and community. It takes more than a greenkeeper to keep the facility like this tip-top the way it is presented to us for these finals, the last 2 days.
Yep, they're a good club, Wanneroo.
Yeah, all credit to them. And innovative, you know, they've got the playground and another synthetic up there, and they've, you know, shortened, pinched a couple of rings off it, and, you know, it's all about family, and it's great to see.
There goes Coxie now.
He was
left the club.
Just left the club. Yep. Just wait for the smoke to clear.
Let's just pop down to Bob Jane.
Yep. Best left-hand bowler you've seen? Left-arm bowler?
Lara.
Yeah, I would have said Lara too. Silky. She's just silky smooth.
We do have a player in our club that bowls with both hands.
So do we.
Bowls backhand, and he chooses right or left hand depending on what side he's playing.
Well, I'll talk about crazy stories in bowls, and there's a guy that plays 3 for us on a Thursday, which I know that's 3 mentions for Thursday, but
was he part of the flag
yeah,
winning team?
So he spent all year bowling right-handed, and then in the final he bowled left-handed.
Yeah, nice weight. Good use of the bowl in front.
So you can only have luck if you reach, and that bowl had weight to reach, and thou shalt have luck if you reach. So she got the glide, got to the jack, so be it. Luck is a part of bowls.
It comes, it goes.
It comes, it goes, and you can make a bit of it by reaching.
Well, here's another one-liner. Someone once told me your luck begins when you reach the head.
Yeah. That's 7.
So you're left-handed bowler, bowled right-hand all season until?
He bowls right-handed all season. We get to the final, and he bowls left-handed.
Because?
So in the roll-up, he'd broken his hand many years ago, his right hand, and he says he does have a few issues. as we'll cross over with Capel holding one, which is sitting right on the jack, which will be easy to, if you get hold of that, it will go back. So anyway, he has the roll up. He rolls up some right-handed, some left-handed, and he said they felt better coming out of left-handed, out of that hand. So he chose to play an entire game in a pennant final with the opposite hand he's bowled with all year. I mean, I have seen him bowl left-handed before when he's been going really, really bad. He'll change hands, but to do it in a pennant final and play an entire game, you know, you couldn't make the story up. You know, it has to be true, sort of thing. It was amazing, and he bowled well.
Which is a bit sad for us who struggle to bowl with one hand.
Oh, absolutely. If I'm going bad, I've just got to suck it up. Can't change hands, can't bowl left-handed either. So we know one thing is he should reach. So maybe the second, maybe she'd like a better second than what she's got, but she has got two of them. So reaching is order of the day. We'll have a look as we look at the screen so we can see it down. So, you know, it's tight there. You know, that's going to be a really hard hand to play, but now she's just knocked that in. Maybe, no, she's got second shot with her own.
Yeah.
I would have thought it was the other hand, but, you know, doesn't have the catcher.
Chris Lewis picked up a single on the previous end, so that score is now 5-4 in favour of Jacinta.
So it's still in the game, that ball. So we will try and pick up as best we can the singles game at the completion of this. As we see Nola Forbes come down, just get the edge of that bowl.
Just popped it a little.
Capel still holding the one. So her third has come about. Yep. So that one pulls up short, so it'll just be the one to Capel. They take the lead by that exact same number, 1. So no trends in who's dominating on a particular end by the looks of this.
No, Corrigan went a fraction shorter last end than has been played for most of the game, but nothing too dramatic. Just good bowls all round.
Yeah, it is. It's good to see a game that's done, you know, played at a high level. And
Jacinta picks up a 1 and now leads 6-4.
hopefully that's not Phil's plane as he's heading up to Bali.
Or him being deported and coming home.
Could be, or most likely. So it's really good to see the cross-section of our state we've seen represented in the games on the final day. You know, wasn't dominated by, you know, one region or one town. So, which, you know, can happen, but it's so good. So we're covering a fair bit of the state here, from the coast, a bit inland, a bit of sheep growing country, a bit of wheat growing country down Corrigan Way. And once again, she bowls at a level above the experience that she's got of only 4 years, so she'd be really happy with her input into this game so far, as with only 3 ends to go, 1 shot in it. Every bowl is going to be of significance going forward from here, Wendy.
Yes. I know they always say that, you know, you could have picked up the shot on the first or second or third end, but it's a whole new ball game the last couple of ends.
And there's only 1 winner of this event per year. There's not a tomorrow, so they just got to get the job done.
Yep, out of 96 teams, they're the last 2 left.
So how many venues did you say we used?
Used 11 all up.
So, which is great. We really appreciate the clubs that put their hand up, you know, to host the Ladies Country Week. It's really, like we say, it's really important in our calendar. And it's tough. This is a week later than Country Week normally is for the ladies.
Yep.
That's just the way the calendar fell this year. And yeah, so who were they off the top of your head?
Oh, off the top of my head, Doug? Just so happens I have them memorised. We had Aussie Park, Melville, Warwick, Cambridge, Coburn, Manning, Morley, North Beach, Mosman Park, Ellenbrook, and of course Wanneroo, who hosted sectional and the finals.
Which is really generous of the clubs. We really do appreciate it. We know that it's a busy calendar, and green tea keepers and clubs and the volunteer world and environment that we have within bowls in WA, it's a tough gig, and so for them to front up good greens, good facilities, do lunches, do everything, and be hospitable to all our country guests is really appreciated. I know I've had some feedback from some of the ladies how they were spoiled at different clubs.
Yeah.
And what I do like about, when you're the same, is the feedback we get. They don't just come with gripes. I like the way they'll actually ring me and tell me how good someone.
The positive stuff. Yeah.
And it's great to hear that.
Yeah.
Some of the positives are quite entertaining, but all their positives all the same, and they appreciate it. And being, you know, the country people really do appreciate the effort that the clubs put in. So. Hopefully we're going forward, and still a few events left to go. What about you playing in the state trebles?
Yeah, we've got the mixed over 60s pairs first next week.
Yeah, with Peter?
Yes. She says with a smile. That's our one event that we play together,
Righto.
happily.
Yep.
And of course the state triples, men and women's, next weekend.
And a nice calculated little glide, but perfect weight and degree of luck, but that's bowls.
And you're playing in the over 60s, or are
Yeah.
you not that old yet?
I know. Yeah, I'll just right back on my seat now. So no, I am. I know I was really young when I was born, Wendy, and that sort of throws people off when they're guessing my age. But yes, I am. Denise and myself, we always enjoy we enjoy each other's company when we're playing bowls. We enjoy it all the time. But yes, we are playing. And then I'm not playing this triples. I've got a few other things I need to do, and then, as you know, I'm involved with Regional Men's Health, and we've got a meeting down at Manjimup. So I've got to chuff off there for a meeting, which I'm really looking forward to, actually. And we'll be sort of working out how we can sort of replicate what we did for the men through the women through and some other source, but obviously not Regional Men's Health. It's not part of their charter, but
Yep.
It's a fundraiser for whatever chosen charity that they think we could run with. But that's something
promising.
we'll work with. And and then you talk about the centenary of Men's Country Week in 27. I'm sure we'll be doing some bit more of that type of stuff as we get there.
Yep.
So Jacinta over on the singles has just drawn, I'd say, a resting toucher. Always a good way to start your first bowl.
Having picked up one, I believe. Yep, she's now at 8. Just Can't quite see the scoreboard. From memory, she must have picked up one. And a
How's
great
that
response
wow,
from
what a
Chris.
response.
Just rolled Jacinta's bowl. Jacinta still has shot possibly, but great ball. Wrong one knocked up, but still holding shot.
Corrigan holding 2. Nola chops another bowl in. A few nerves shown there by the third.
Margaret doesn't look happy.
So that's the call from third. Just beat those 2 bowls at the front and you'll count. Oh,
Good effort.
so the 2.
Confirmed.
2 to Corrigan. And the puzzle still is yet to be solved. Up and back, 1 shot the difference. Country Week 4's ladies title up for grabs. No one's got a hand on it yet. Maybe they both have.
Well, we know that someone's got to win.
Yes, of course we're not chopping it in half. No, if that's what you were alluding to. But yeah, someone will win. So it'll be an extra end if it gets to that. That would be the perfect scenario. So we can only hope that's the outcome. So
There's only been a couple of ends of multiples.
so
Well,
5, yeah, 5 of the 13, yeah.
Corrigan
So
have picked up 3 2s and Capel have got a 3 and a 2.
so, and that's reflects the game. That's just how it's been played.
Tight.
You know, everyone's been over it, and now the leads once again. You know, that's as good a start as she could wish for, and you know, it's right in the game, 2 foot behind.
And slightly shorter again. So Corrigan have done that last couple of times. They've had the mat.
So who play within the state triples?
State triples is myself, Kelly Ray and Donna Blackwell.
Oh, fair side.
Fair section.
Fair section too. Is that right? I should have. Sorry. Actually, we did play you one time in a section of the over 60s mixed.
Yes, from 2 good bowls from Sue again. From memory, you beat us, but we won the section.
I remember part of it.
You remember the first part?
I remember
when
the
you beat
first
us.
part, yeah. Well, that one's pulled up short. Not a time to be short.
Just overcorrecting.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, and that's probably reflection. When you're newish, it's hard to get used to that, how to correct, but
Let alone being in a close final, Country League Force.
yeah, and you feel wish you could just have a little time out and ask everyone what's going through, what's their thought process, how do they feel, their emotions, where it's at. But of course, that's not how the game is. And although we have thought going forward that we'd like to mic up players in Country Week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That would
yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah, well, you've got to pick the right people. I mean, there's some you wouldn't trust, and I could give you a list, but some get caught up in the emotion. But that would be really good, so they can talk about the green or the process, the game, who's doing what. And you don't have to talk to a whole entire game. Every other sport does it, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing it.
Sounds like something worth trying.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, men's country would be a good spot to trial it.
That's a good bowl.
they've all had solid games. They'll all walk away from this game being exceptionally happy with what they have done, regardless of the result, and that's a good way to be. I mean, and once again,
Oh, another good bowl.
she's a fair outing, has Bev. So the obvious call, that bowl's behind Jack, you rest it, and possibly, or if you even just slice the Jack, we've got the catcher sitting over there. That belongs to Sue Kabulis, so slice is good, and as we say, reach. First part of the equation. Oh, that's such a fine effort.
Good roll.
Kay's another one that can hold a head up high, as all of them. Sort of played her part as it was needed to be played. Still in the game there. You know, there's a gateway through there if someone gets hold of that Jack, and that's in really good catching position, Wendy.
Well, you're never out of the game if you're behind, are you?
No, that's correct. So are they paying interest? It's good watching the emotions of the skippers, and that's great of Nola. Nola finds positive of that end. It was the first bowl was an absolute cracker, and so it was. So you're allowed to be human, aren't you, Wendy?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
Yep.
We put a lot of pressure on ourselves and great expectations, but you get 50% of your bowls in the area, and your teammates do. Most of the time you'll win a game.
Yeah, absolutely. So Peter's taught you the art of sledging yet?
I'll have to say no.
No.
Jacinta's up 10-4 in the singles, and she's holding 2 at the moment. Just put down her last bowl.
And it's probably a good
3.
miss.
Yeah.
A touch on that might have shot it straight back to the opposition's bowl. So with 4 balls left to come down, and they're saying, oh, that one parks up short. Not a good time to be short. They got a 1-shot lead at this stage. So imperative that Nola reaches with this bowl, sits that, even if she trails the Jack, it's fine. Going into the last end square, I guess, is the perfect scenario
It is.
for us, but that's Nola may not share our sentiments, and she certainly is doing her best to make sure that's what's going to happen. So she just pulls up a bit shy, so we'll see what happens here. And I reckon this one's short too, so it's not a crime to be short.
And we're back to square one,
Last end.
playing one end for the championship.
So-
Jacinta did pick up 2 in the last end. She's now leading 12-4.
So Chris Lewis has had quite the country week, hasn't she? She's sort of pushed away through to the pointy end in
Massive.
everything. So
Yeah.
she'll sleep well tonight. And she had a late night last night with they were playing till 8 o'clock, which has enabled us to get everything finished at a reasonable hour today. So,
What are they going to do?
so are there any nerves involved with that Jack throw?
I think so. A little adrenaline, probably.
So,
It's okay. You just need to move on from that really quickly and forget it.
no, you can't change what's happened. It's about, and then we'll see.
You can't be thinking about it when you get on the mat with your ball.
Not at all. So this will dictate. So Corrigan will be happy getting to dictate the length. They have played shorter, as you say, fractionally
yeah,
shorter.
Looks like it's the same as what they've played the last few ends when they've had the mat.
But Pam Lloyd, as much as she threw the jack in the ditch, still gets the privilege of putting the first bowl down. So her last 2 bowls for the country week, what are they going to be like? So she's got half of it right so far. I think it's going to swoop back in. And
That's good.
that's a good start.
Yep,
That's a
it
good
is.
starter.
After a jack roll, it is hard to come back.
Yes. So Sue Kabulis has been as good as anyone that's been out on this rink today. And right on cue.
There's a cracker.
Just absolutely. And a toucher. So flops in, back resting just about, although there is a nice little gap there. So only one thing that needs to happen here, and that's reach. Just get to it, stay involved, draw a second shot. So if it holds, if it doesn't, it's still in the area, and that's a fair effort.
Yep.
So Sue Kabulis should be very happy with her outing. Even happier if she can put one somewhere in the area. Doesn't have to be right on it, but in. Oh, she's.
That's right. Her first was a ripper.
Yep, the first one was worth 4 good bowls. So hopefully the mindset is reach. So Bev McKenna also had a great day, as they all have. So this is in the area. It is in the area.
Oh,
brilliant.
Great bowl. Popped it out.
Popped it out.
Gives the teammates an opportunity.
Absolutely. Ultimate team bowl.
Yep. You don't need shot to have played the greatest bowl.
No, correct. So everything's back on an even par now. So the backhand's being chosen here to see whether she's going to get round that front bowl of Sue's, and she's played this pretty well actually. Weight to perfection. Flops in, but not quite in the cow, but in the head.
And next door, Chris picked up a 1 that end. Score is now 12-5 in favour of Jacinta.
A new bowling green up at Gleeman, so new trophy on the cabinet next to a new bowling green wouldn't be bad, but she's got a bit of work left to do. So that one slides underneath. Not as good as the first bowl, but everyone will be pretty happy with that. Rightio. So still calling her behind, so she's protecting the one. I'm not sure that it's a good enough one that you can just try and protect it. You'd be trying to get it and take their shot away. Oh, what a great bowl.
That's a beautiful bowl.
That's magnificent.
That's outstanding.
So if we thought the first one was good, that one's probably raised the bar again, Wendy.
Correction brings perfection.
Correction brings perfection, righto. Who teaches you all these?
Oh, it all just comes out of my head,
Oh.
Doug.
Yes. It's got Bruce Eagles written all over it.
No, I know. I don't listen to Bruce.
I don't. Oh, that's a fair reply. Doesn't quite get it. So what does that look like from the mat? It looks to me like it's weighted on the forehand, but of course it's not them that have got the bowl. It's Corrigan's turn to try and change the shape or block that little gap through those 2 bowls, or get round the back and cover. That wing bowl, I think they'd prefer it if it was back another foot.
Yeah.
Play this all right. Oh, she won't be disappointed with that.
Another bowl in the head.
Exactly. So, if ever there was a time to reach through 2 metres of weight, it's about right now.
Yep. Open it up. Give your skip a chance.
So, there is a little bit extra being put on this. But it's just going to hang higher. That's the... Oh, a bit of the old trumpy. She just missed the head.
Finished in a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So if someone can get through that gate, that is in the perfect catching position. You wouldn't just start the engraver just yet, would you, Wendy? There's still a lot can happen.
I wouldn't have even sent the trophy to him yet.
Two bowls each to go. Title firmly up for grabs. From the mat, it won't look fantastic, but if you can make any contact, there's luck to be had, and you own the catch. So I don't think there's anything there with a cold draw. It is just be reaching through that head, whatever weight you so choose. You own that you've got the Bacchus bowl.
Disrupt in some way.
Absolutely. Good call. That line requires more weight. But it does get that out of that. May be easier on the... Yes, it will be easier on the eye. There's actually value in chipping that out, but she's only got one chance at it now. No time to correct.
So what does Nola do?
Well, I'd suggest I'd cover. You're either in amongst it and making it near on impossible to get them, or you just cover out the back. So, which I'd suggest that's with the weight they're using. The call from the third is spot on. So, as with all the bowlers, Nola's certainly done her bit. And I wouldn't criticise that bowl for sure. Although the weight that we saw Marg play last time wasn't super heavy, this time she may just increase it a bit. And Nola, I can read Nola's mind. And she's not a bad sport, but she's hoping she doesn't play this last bowl. But they're looking. She's played this really well.
Oh, what a great bowl for not the result.
Well, I'm not sure if that's a fitting in, but it certainly was drama right to the last bowl. As we see the Corrigan team of Nola Forbes, Kay Poultney, Sue Kabulis, Karen Poultney, hugging each other, and emotions are flowing. That was a gripping game of bowls, Wendy, and
outstanding standard. And
both teams deserve to win, but only got room for one team on that plaque. And unfortunately for Capel, Smug Savikas and Bev McKenna, Shirley Hickey and Pam Lloyd, gallant as they were the entirety of that game, that just wasn't their day, and the bowling gods just didn't smile on them as much as that last bowl was sensational. It just didn't fall that way.
I think they've got to remember that they were in the top 2% of all the teams.
Well, at 96 teams across, the mathematician.
An incredible week.
So I guess on that we've still got the singles to go, but we'll pause for a minute. Or are you happy to stay here? I'll stay here, and you'll do the presentations.
Yeah, I'll pop over and do the presentations.
Rightio. And so we'll probably just have a 5 minute break. We've just got to reset cameras because we have got the singles going over on ring 2. So as we do that, it's just one last chance to, and you'll return after that, I'm sure, unless the game gets wound up. But
and Jacinta Zetto up 12-7 in the singles. Chris holding 2 at the moment.
So we'll just pause for 5 minutes and do a bit of a rejig.
We'll be back.
And we'll be back. So we're back after that break, and we've readjusted the cameras as we slip across onto rink 2, and in the dying moments, maybe not quite, of the ladies singles for Country Week 2025. We've just witnessed a cracking game of fours decided on the last bowl, and they should be all very proud of themselves as they go through the presentations. And we see Chris Lewis playing Jacinta from Lehman and Jacinta Zadow from Kojonup going toe-to-toe. Jacinta's leading 13-10 as we speak. First, of course, it's 21 up. Jacinta with the pink bowls, left-hander, and been to a final before, so she knows the expectations, she knows the pressure. Very good bowler. Great kid as well. So, the experienced Chris Lewis, she's had a monster Country Week. Got pushed through to the pointy end in a couple of events. In fact, dare I say it, did hold us up a little bit because she was bowling was that successful that we had to work a few things around, and she started at 8:30 this morning after bowling till 8 o'clock last night. So I take my hat off to her for doing what she's done and the success she's had during Country Week. So with a little bit more success up for grabs. So Vicky Eva is marking this game, and she will tell us. We know it's 1. So Jacinta thinks she's got 2, and I'd be measuring as well. So she goes to Chris's bowl first, comes back around. Oh, I would have thought that was comfortably in, and it is. Yep, 2. So that moves Jacinta onto 15. And Chris onto 10. So 21 up, first to 21. So classic singles final, and we're seeing a great display of bowls. We were calling one game and keeping a close eye on the other, and we saw a very high standard of bowls in the fours, and as we're looking across, we'd see Jacinta be on it, then you'd see Chris come down and roll that one out and stay for shot. So they're going toe-to-toe, 5 shots in it. It's when you get within that peg, when you get within 4 that the nerves start to kick in for everyone. So we'll see who holds their nerve. Chris, obviously, as experienced bowlers, has enjoyed success lots of places, and Jacinta's a bowler that's been in and around that state squad, country all-star type bowler, and played plenty of league and zone, so she knows what it's like to take her game to another level, and she takes that within her stride. So Chris, in front of her, she sees a jack, and she sees Jacinta holding the only bowl that's down there, but holding shot and looking to me to be about 14 inches behind. So the shadows are reaching on. You may see, it's a grass green, so we may see it just slow down, which is typical of a grass green. And as we get into the evening, albeit it's 4:25, so it's time of the day where grass will slow down. It's the time of the day that synthetics will speed up. So Jacinta's bowling beautiful touch with the first one. She's got 4 foot of room to get past and to secure second shot, and she's done that, and albeit just. So Lehman Bowling Club, they'll be very proud to see Chris here. They've got a new synthetic and new surrounds, and I was talking to, when we were at Albany it must have been, and I was with Norm Scoglin and talking about what a great club Lehman is, and the hard work and the volunteers and how they manage to do the surrounds, and their generosity, not just of their members but of the businesses that are in that community. And as we see a great shot, which tells me, I'm not sure whether that just snuck in for shot. Still working out who's got what colour code from the great Vicky Eva, who's done a marvellous job. Of course, during the week we lost David Van Horn, or Kilch Van Horn, or great bowl by Jacinta. Changes the shape of the head, gets back to hold shot now, and so it's 1 and a measure. So I've worked out that Jacinta is the yellow paddle. Chris has the red paddle. Stays on that backhand. Not a lot of room to get it wrong, but she's tugged it tight, which is what quite often happens with that when you've got that presented in front. But she's got more ball to correct, and that's bowls is a game of correction. So she certainly, if she's got this far, we know that she can correct, and we've seen some cracking bowls. The game first up this morning against Linda Warburton, we saw her play just on that last end when she got those 3 shots. She played absolute blinder. So Jacinta, left-hander, swings onto her backhand, looking to beat the jack high bowl, and that's magnificent touch. So it's still 2 and a measure. So I'm joined by someone who is only a few, maybe minutes away from not being the incumbent singles champion of Ladies Country Week in Linda, the one and only Linda Warburton. So it's her title until someone takes it off her. So Linda joins us as someone drops a glass. So Linda.
Very close.
So you might only be the reigning champion for another 10 minutes.
Look at that. Okay, so what's the go here? Jacinta's
Well, it's
looking like she's got 2, maybe.
Yeah, it's 2 and a measure, and Jacinta, you won't be able to stop her from measuring. I certainly would be. There's a fair bit up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a couple of previous singles champions sitting in the crowd. I see Jenny Parker, who won it in just about 2017. Just 2.
2 to Jacinta. That brings her to 17. Lee Paletti's obviously won it before.
I had she won Country Week.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. I should have, silly question, I should have known that. But I think I did read that while she was bowling for the Geraldton Bowling Club. So
And,
that's right.
I believe Jacinta's been a runner-up before, but I
Yes,
don't know for sure.
Yeah, no, correct. I think we might have streamed that game. But it was at Osborne Park, and she played Kathy Cobbard.
Did she? Yeah.
And she accounted herself very well, but didn't get over the line.
No.
So she's used to the stage.
On the run home now, I'd say.
So that's 17-10. I mean, it's been a long week for Chris.
Yeah, it's been a very long week for Chris.
And just yesterday was an awesome effort.
Yeah.
She was the last one standing.
Yes, she was.
And she got some big scalps this morning.
Yeah, did she?
She did. You played.
Easy beats.
She puts the bowl down and she's got shot. And it's that jack high. It's absolutely cracking.
Yeah.
You roll it out, stay for shot, and I'm thinking, wow, how good's that?
Yeah.
And then she comes out and decides she'll do the same to you again, which is a bit rude, but
I promise I won't have nightmares about it tonight.
No, you should be very proud of the way you bowled. It's an exceptional standard game.
It was a good standard in the conditions, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
We haven't seen a lot of weighted shots today, even in the 4s. There was lots more draw bowls. And I guess that's conditions as well, and, getting that second shot, as we all say.
Yeah.
What Chris has done here. Oh, yes, she's got the shot.
She just won't go away.
She does not go away, and she's a very interesting lady to play because she's quite intense. Slaps a leg. I don't know how that is not bruised, but she does lots of leg slapping and talking to herself, and still slapping a leg there now, saying, come on, you can do this. Never give up, which is good.
Jacinta, of course, has other ideas. She's got a good second where she is.
Yep, she has.
But one thing I've noticed about the few bowls I've watched Chris is that she really knows how, if she's got shot, how to sit that other bowl out, and she's very clear in her thinking.
Yep.
So process she uses really, strong on the mat.
Yep.
Visualises, and very good understanding of the game.
Yes, she has. She's been bowling a long time and represented league and zone a lot of times. This is a pretty handy second shot. Just gone through, but a good home if Jacinta happens to get the jack. She's put in a good position.
So Jacinta's just got to keep it cool here. She doesn't have
She
to
does.
get shot. She just
No,
second.
second.
yeah.
Well, but I guess Chris, all Chris has to do is get a shot every end, and it's anybody's.
Yeah, but you don't want to, in Jacinta's position now, is drop a number,
No.
drop a multiple. Is
No,
if you drop a 1, so be it.
that's right.
Manageable, keep it to manageable numbers.
Yep.
And that leg tapping going
There's
on,
a
just as
lot
you
of leg
speak.
tapping
A lot of leg tapping.
going on. And it'd be an awful lot of talking to herself in her head, I reckon. Very good win to the Corrigan girls.
Awesome game. I did speak to the Capel girls and congratulated them on how they played. They
Played
really,
very well.
and the bowling gods just didn't quite smile on
No.
them with that last bowl.
No, that's right.
Couldn't have done much more.
No, absolutely. So the Corrigan girls were in my section in the 4s, so I guess in our defence we can't call ourselves the runners-up because they beat us in the section or won our section, but you know we can say we were beaten by the winners on the day.
What
So
you can say is you ran a lot of people into form.
yes, that's what it is, Doug. I think they had some pretty good form. We ran into them.
So, chance to get a multiple here, and she'll know the significance of this bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacinta's bowls are in a very, very good position, and Chris is on her way to get second shot. I would think he's going to be pretty close. Oh, she might have just fallen a wee bit short or a bit wide.
Oh, she might have got a bit of that wind just sort of popped on us a little bit. May have
Yep.
held it, but
Yep.
one.
Just
So
one.
You don't get
17-11. She won't go away. She'll persist.
so her length that she'll play now.
Yeah, I think she'll probably still. They don't seem to have varied the length a great
No.
deal. They've gone similar. She's not going to go short or anything. So she's still keeping it a fairly decent length.
So,
Hoping that into the shade might deflect something.
well, do you think it slowed down? I mean, we talk about grass greens,
Yeah.
20 to 5 now. It's that time of
Yeah.
day where
Yep.
the shade's
Generally.
coming out. The grass green will
Starts
slow
to
down.
stand up a
As much
little.
as this is a magnificent grass
Yeah.
green prepared by Gary Cox, it
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
it will slow down. It's just the nature of the
Yeah.
beast.
I think 4 o'clock's generally the time. You know, you pick 4 o'clock and things change at 4 o'clock, around 4 o'clock too. So Peter's obviously not back yet.
I've
with
decided not to follow it.
Yep.
It was tight. I did
Was
get
it?
a message.
Okay.
Yeah, there was only a couple of shots in it
Shots
there
in
for a
it,
while,
yep.
and so we'll find out.
Yeah, no doubt. He's probably hanging out there so you get this all packed up so he can just sneak in when it's all done.
Well, he so deserves that to happen.
He sure does.
I don't think I've met anyone harder working.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the backstory, and
Yep.
I don't think there's anyone in bowls in WA that
No.
does more.
No, and I'll tell you the other person is Leonie. Leonie
Oh,
Potts is
wow.
around all the time, you know, and she's always got a smile on her face and cheerio to everybody. She remembers people. She's a great person to have there, and, you know, it's
Yep.
great that she does what she does.
Yeah, we're privileged to have those people in
Absolutely.
a sport that's volunteer based.
Oh, this might be in the ditch, this one. She's making sure she reached. Oh, it's going to sit on the edge, maybe. There's the greenkeeper's lip right there.
There you go.
Yep.
So Jacinta's bad news is she's one down. Good news
Yep.
is there's heaps of room to draw a shot, and she's shown all game that she's more than capable.
It's a nice delivery, and nicely out of her hand. And she's got a wee bit more weight on this one, except if she crashes into her own, but she's probably got enough to get shot.
So,
Maybe. Yeah.
yes. Jacinta's actually, well, no, Jacinta's unless she's held up the wrong one, Jacinta is the yellow paddle.
Oh, so the red still got shot. Oh, okay.
So, assuming Vicky gets very little wrong, as we know, she's very astute,
Absolutely.
very reliable and consistent, and
Oh, she's got a bit runny again, I think, has she? Unless she hits something. Well, she's put two good bowls in a very good position there.
They only have to count.
They do.
So once again, Jacinta has room to draw. She's sticking with that hand. As it's even on the screen for us, it's difficult to see it coming out of the shadows.
She's not quite there.
Not quite there.
No. So Chris has got an opportunity here
So
to make
a number. Yep, another multiple, and she gets to ask the umpire, have I got shot?
2, in actual fact. Well, oh no, we've got...
Yeah, 2.
2, yeah. A bit more slapping on the knee. She's watching it very intently. There.
Well, from here, I'd say that she's definitely reached. Whether it pulls up.
Definitely a counter. So pressure's on Jacinta here.
So the shot is on her forehand, but she'll
persist with the back because she's had the other 3 there.
Yeah, and so she should. And there is room to draw it.
Yep.
I like the way. I think the weight's there. And is the shape. Oh.
Not quite, but she might have got a second shot from there. I'm not sure about this short one. Out this side, a bit hard to tell with the shadow, isn't it?
No, the shadow throws it out. And we are a fair way it is on ring 2, and the rings have been moved in, which is fair.
Yep.
So it's 1 for a start. That's a given.
She's going to do a measure here. 2.
She's conceded 2. Oh, and measuring for the 3rd. So.
Oh, man, that front one must be interesting.
So 3 puts a different spin on this game, Linda.
It does. Oh, that could be in. No, not quite.
Just shy, 2.
Just shy of it. So 2 to Chris. Takes her up to 13-17. So there's still shots in it.
Yeah, still game on, so much can happen.
Yep. What's she going to do this time, Chris?
So interesting to see, well, different to see a winning team from Corrigan not have the great Nolene Abbey in it.
Absolutely, yes.
And all credit to Nolene. We did the stream out of Coburn last year, and she had a new bowler with her.
She did.
And
June
you take your hat.
Pet Shark, or I think her name was. Oh, this might be a bit long, this one. I know she's going to stop. Yeah, she did. She had a new bowler. I think they got runner-up, didn't they, last year in the pairs?
Yep. One
Yep.
on an interesting last end.
It was a very interesting last end. Yeah. Against the dynamic pair from Denison, they were, weren't they? Pat and Belcher.
Yeah, right. Gee, your memory's good.
I know.
Who won the singles then?
I'm so young.
You probably know all the results.
No, not quite.
Didn't Mandurah win the 4s?
Mandurah, no. Bunbury won the 4s.
Bunbury,
and
sorry,
Blatchenden.
Yeah, yes,
beat
correct.
the team from Manjima, maybe Mandurah. Manjima. A little bit long there, Chris. And she's wasted 1 bowl in the ditch, unfortunately, so that's not going to count.
So, Jacinta
might drop this one a bit short. Oh no, it's still coming. Yeah, a little bit short.
I guess
sure.
it's not a disadvantage. It's a privilege to come down and play on good grass greens, especially
Beautiful.
this one's a classic. But 98% of greens within the country are now synthetic.
Yes.
So I know the country boys, when I was talking to them, they're more than happy to play on them because it's like a home ground advantage, which is a change from days gone by where they demanded to play on the best grass greens they possibly could.
Yeah.
So do we see correction here? And as we would guess, yes, we did.
She would get shot. Yes, very good. Yeah, I guess everybody playing on synthetic greens is certainly showing in deliveries by people. You know, not too many people have that lovely back swing anymore. touch bowlers, so that's the synthetic
coming out.
greens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really do notice that myself.
Yep.
I know when we had that rain in Perth the other week.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of guys just fell over on that, and their techniques got exposed.
Yeah. Still one here to Chris, we think.
You'd be thinking. So that'll be 2, do you think? Jacinta just sails through. Important to reach.
Yeah.
She has reached, but too far. So, another tap on the thigh.
Yes. Lucky it's not a real slap, it's just a little tap.
Yep. It's concentrate, girl, is what she's saying, I think.
Yep.
So this is another opportunity. Jacinta still has 1 bowl, but she needs to build pressure.
Chris is just around that front one. She's got a pretty, and she's going to crash. Or she's not, she's just, yeah, she has crashed. Unfortunately,
And
she's only holding 1 now, maybe.
So this will be,
Maybe?
so our marker walks around, looks at it from a few different angles, and shows us that Jacinta has now got shot. So Chris was punished for not going onto her backhand where it was a clear run.
Yeah.
So, but we don't make the decisions.
She's
And we
telling
have-
herself that too.
Yeah.
Giving herself a little talk about that, I reckon she might be.
So holding 2 and then knocks them in for shot, and if Jacinta then decides that we might as well twist the knife, draws
Yeah,
another
it's a
one,
second.
and it's a measure, I'd suggest.
2, Vicky seems to be getting ready to hold up 2 paddles. Very deceiving from here because it looks like that.
Yeah, correct. But they're measuring, so that tells us that
Yep.
is close. So 2 here gets her within that striking zone, and it's
Looks
easy
like it's
to.
2. Yep.
Easy to. Oh, wants a remeasure.
No, the side one, she wants to have a look at that one. Very close. Obviously that side one's in before the back one.
So won't change the result, but
Still 2, no.
so
2 striking distance.
so could be 1 end before your reign ends, Linda.
Oh my God, give the crown away.
Yeah.
Wish I'd bought
gosh.
it.
So not dissimilar in the length they're both choosing to
No,
bowl at. There may be a
similar.
metre, but
Just brought the mat up a little bit more than Chris had, but she's certainly playing similarly. Great game, good fitting end to Country Week for another year.
and this
guess,
is
and that's
a
a very
great,
handy
terrific bowl.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Very handy. Jack
So-
sitting just on the edge of the shadow, it's never that easy.
No, it does. It, dare I say it, and there's, well, not in this case, but there are some old eyes out there, and
Yeah.
I know when we play night games, I certainly don't look forward to them.
Remind me if I ever have to play you, we'll channel as a night game.
Yeah, righto. That's right. They ring a bell when I get on the mat.
That's a very good bowl of
That's
Chris's.
very
She's
fine.
not going away at all, is she?
She possesses a determination that
Yep.
only champions have.
Yep.
She's certainly a credit to herself
Yep.
and to her club.
Yep.
It's just a hallmark that seriously good bowlers have, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
never give in.
No. Some people chase better than they do playing from the front too.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you bring up there. That is definitely the case. I know there's certain you don't like getting too far in front of you.
No.
So,
all the spectators sitting there chewing their nails thinking who's going to win.
Yeah, there's plenty of family sitting there.
Yep.
So, to have one good bowl is one thing, but she needs to replicate.
She does. Yeah, she probably needs to get a couple on this end, and she's doing a pretty good job. She's just going to run through a little tiny bit in a good position, but...
So Jacinta just needs to keep it cool.
Yep.
Getting shots probably difficult. We see it from side on.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what it looks like, but yeah, no, it's a difficult. There's not much there. Just get second shot, burn the end, get onto the next one. And she's done that. She may have done a bit better than that. Gee whiz.
Oh, a very good bowl. One to the red still.
So Chris has still got.
Yep.
So getting a multiple has just been made dramatically increased. The difficulty has just increased through the roof. But
she just wants to cover those back ones so she can't get too...
So will Jacinta run?
I would not think so. I think she'd be happy to go down one at this stage and just... I would be happy to go down one at this stage and then just play an extra end and don't let Chris get a multiple. Oh, I'm probably wrong about that. She's having a bit of a run. Might take her own out. No, she's not.
She's got 2 seconds, so
yeah,
it was worth a dabble, but I perhaps wouldn't have chosen to do it on the cusp of...
No.
You're only going to go to 19-14. Difficult for Chris Lewis to draw a second shot here, but not beyond it.
Definitely not beyond her. She's done a pretty good job. Just going to fall slightly short. So one to Chris.
On Chris, 19-14. Of course, ends are irrelevant because it's the first to 21, Linda.
Yep.
What did you win by last year? Can you remember?
I wouldn't have a clue. Maybe 21 something.
I guess that's why we pay you the big bucks, Linda. I can see that.
Yeah. My memory's good for some things, but not others. I don't tend to remember results very much. But I'll probably remember today going down by one.
In a cracking game.
No, I think it might have been 21-14 or something like that. Carol Ashworth was my opponent last year.
Oh, it was too. So we had any results come through from Premier League at Manning?
Put that out on a pretty good line, I think, from this direction.
It's probably not going to get, well, it's not going to get all the way back, but gets a pass mark for a starter.
Absolutely. Might duck under the head slightly.
Looks like, yeah, she's a bit tight on the line. You sort of wonder whether you wouldn't just have been on the other hand, but...
Yeah. Especially with the bowler just in front. You don't need to knock a bowl up to the opposition.
And the wind, the flags are hanging after what we've been through today. It's the real zephyr.
Pretty good line with this one. She's got a very good line. She's going to make that count. That's a very good bowler, Chris's. Definitely got one, maybe two. I think two. Yep.
I'd say you're right. And now, what will we see from Jacinta Zadao?
controlled. Can't really tell, but
Well, it looked to me like it's a tight line, and without the weight to hold, that it'll slide away without a rub, and suggest that it's 2 to Chris. Yes, it is. So
yes, still 2 to Chris.
Vicky Eva agrees and confirms our thoughts. So another tap on the thigh, and this time will be, you're not going to get into trouble, just draw another one. She's watching. She thinks it's somewhere there.
She does.
And we agree.
I totally
Slide
agree. She
underneath.
just wants to be sitting right there, and she's made 3.
Could not have done that any better. So
No.
Jacinta's now got 2 bowls left. She's 3 down. It's 19-14. Doesn't want to let this opportunity slip, so she knows she has to reach. So the line looks like the height's okay.
She's got a pretty good line on this
Yeah,
one.
just going to come down to the weight.
Oh, she's just got to slide under that one of Chris's, and she's not got.
And it fell back, so
It's still 2.
yeah, I think it's 2. We'll wait for an indication from.
Chris has got to look at what she's going to play here, because she's got 2 of Jacinta's bowls on each side in the way.
But she has to be brave, and she has to find it.
does.
Just has to find a way. I think that's
Absolutely.
that's what we'd say. That's what.
Yep.
Yeah, so that Wendy Flack would have a saying for this. She has a saying for everything, and it'd be find a way.
Find a way. Find a way through.
And there's more air than bowl. And that one's just way too high. That's another one of those. Not coming back from there. The old Harold Holt.
This side seems to have played a little bit trickier in this game.
Yeah, and I think we've sort of questioned their choice of hands, and I
Yeah.
don't think we should. You know,
No.
I think they're saying the same.
Yep.
So with weight, so Jacinta's never afraid to reach, and I think she's done this. Oh, she got
Taken
one
her
out.
Own out as well as one. Not sure if that ball over the other side, it might be second shot. No, maybe just the one.
So Vicky usually gives us a bit of a clue, but she's put it
Yeah.
back to us. She's going to keep us in suspense.
Yep.
What we do know is Jacinta's going to remain on 19.
And Chris is moving to 15 or 16.
If you want it,
You measure it.
you measure it. Conceded one? Yes.
That's the one.
So 15-19.
She's not going away, Chris, is she? Not
So-
going anywhere yet.
So just recapping the day, it's been a big day. We fought the elements and fought everything else, but so we started the days with a pair. Well, we started the day being holding onto the tent, so we didn't end up
Yeah.
on the coast somewhere. But we had Pat Huxon and Linda Young be supreme over top of Sian Smith and Sue Collins. Great game, great standard, and I'm sure Wendy called a lot of that game with us, and we thought it was outstanding. But the way it was, so the team from Meadow Springs and Halls Head are the new champions of the pairs for the Country Week 2025. As we start the next end, then onto the fours. The final of that was won by the Corrigan girls of Nola Forbes, Kay Poltney, Sue Kaboulis and Karen Poltney. Great exhibition, great game. Come down to the last end, and all Marg Savickas had to do was grab hold of the jack, which she did, but the bowling gods decided it wasn't going with her and bounced forward a little bit.
I think we might
And
find this
so-
one in the drink, the first one of Chris's.
So Corrigan was supreme. So that was a great game. And here we are. This is coming down to the wire. 19-15, 21 up is the ultimate aim.
They're always the hardest to get, that last one or last two. Just got to focus on that.
So the process doesn't change from the very first bowl that you put down at the start of the
Very good
tournament,
start by
and that
Jacinta.
if she is good with the first bowl, she's not one of those. Quite often people say, oh, you know, they're good at singles, but they go 4 bowls. But Jacinta does get those first ones away really well. Looks to me like that's going to pull up
It's
way
looking-
short.
Shorter than Jacinta. Yep.
So
You're right about that, Doug.
2 bowls, no result from Chris, but we know that she's a champion. And Jacinta can put this to bed right here and now.
Yep.
Holding one, probably loose one, you'd call it, but
Yeah.
it's one all the same. So
She's going. Yeah, very good.
that's very good.
Very good bowl.
Number 1 rule was reach, which he did. So there's a lot riding on this
Yeah.
bowl from Chris
Oh,
Lewis.
got a bit close.
Has to be close.
And then she's got to, if she can, hold it to 1 if she can't get shot.
So there's no
Yes, I
head
would
shaking
say
just
that's
yet.
not reaching this one, I would think.
I think the
Oh.
no, I think that's going to pull up short. So still
It's
holding 2. She's got 1 bowl to redeem herself.
Yeah.
Jacinta holding 2. Well, 1 really solid.
Yeah.
2 bowls left, but
Only 1 bowl by Chris, unfortunately.
for Chris.
Yep.
Jacinta probably wouldn't agree with that just yet, just at this moment. And I think Jacinta has reached again. 2 magnificent bowls from Jacinta at this
Very good
stage of the
bowls.
game.
Yep.
So
She's not going to pick that bowl up to jinx herself.
she'll be so hoping that she's carrying that bowl down. And I reckon this is short.
I think Chris had a little bounce there, and I think that's. Oh, I don't know about that, Doug.
Oh no, it's starting to run.
Oh no, she is short. It's all over.
I think she might have to play it.
Maybe. 1 and a measure. Wow. Interesting. Definitely the measure. It's certainly not 1 as a marker you would want to call. Let them come and she's got the choice to come and look.
I think Vicky, very astute call from Vicky.
Yeah.
So she swung onto that hand. It's safer out there. She's got room. She sits the 2 back ones. At least they have to look at it. And I reckon she's reached.
She
I reckon
has.
she's got the job done, and I reckon we can just now crown. Oh no,
No. Commentator's curse.
no!
I'm looking on the screen.
I think
No.
the tape. I think it was 1 on a tape. So,
Yep.
so it's 1 on a look. So Jacinta, this will decide whether there's another end played.
Yeah.
I think we're just about to crown our singles champion for 2025.
I think we're definitely going to get 1 here.
So 1's easy.
2. Yeah, she did. Well done. Jacinta. Jacinta Zaddo, coaching up, has become the Country Week singles winner for 2025.
Final score 21-15. So
Well done.
fitting into a great day, interesting day.
Yep.
So a few
Marathon
thank yous.
effort.
Well, it has been. So been here for quite a while setting up. But so to AFGRI and for our key sponsors for Country Week, for both the men and the ladies Country Weeks, they do a fantastic job and have been very generous supporters of Bowls WA. BCIB always contribute, you know, the preferred bowling insurance company within Bowls in WA. They certainly pick up a lot of business and always been generous to Bowls. And of course Wanneroo Bowling Club.
Yeah, great facilities, beautiful greens.
Yeah, hats off to them all.
Absolutely.
And to Dean Lomax from Lomax Productions, once again, he has endured not only the elements, but had to endure the commentators as well. So we thank Dean for that. Does a sterling job. Very patient man is our Dean. And to Wendy Flack, made her audition as on the live stream. And thanks, Wendy. I hope you enjoyed it, because it won't be the last one that you have to do. And hopefully, so anyway, it's all good fun. And to Linda Warburton, so thank you. We really do appreciate your wisdom that you shared with us and your experience. We really do appreciate it. So
good, most
with
enjoyable.
That, it has. And so from myself, Doug Kelly, President of Bowls WA, we sign off and we look forward to Country Week 2026.
We do.
Thank you.